So whilst Book of Love may seem like a funny rom-com storyline, it actually has got a lot more depth beneath the surface as well. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Lifestyle Critic. I hope you're having a brilliant day. So in this video we are going to be reviewing The Book of Love, which is a romantic comedy movie with a bit of an international edge to it. And whilst on the surface it may well seem like a bit of a throwaway love story rom-com type movie, actually beneath the surface it's got really interesting character beats. For example, getting out of your comfort zone, holding on to your principles, being overlooked, and it really does examine all of these different areas in a really funny way, which is really refreshing, and I'm going to be breaking it all down for you in this movie review. So the storyline in this movie is centering around a really unsuccessful writer who has written a book called A Sensible Heart, which isn't getting any sales when suddenly it becomes an absolute hit sensation in Mexico. His publicist then convinces him to do a bit of a book tour in Mexico, where he discovers that his translator has turned his book into a bit of an erotic novel, and the film then explores how he's going to take this, whether or not people are going to find out the truth, and why his translator even did this in the first place. Now, from a positive point of view, like I said, this movie is really funny, and because the storyline is a little bit out of this world, it is really escapist, and it doesn't really take itself too seriously at all. However, from a negative point of view, there are quite a few subtitles in this movie, so definitely be prepared for that, and it is a little bit ridiculous in parts as well. But also on that point, whilst it definitely can be a little bit sleazy and a little bit trashy in parts as well, what I really loved is the fact that it really does explore the impact of a writer who is taking himself very seriously and is now suddenly thrown into a situation where his whole body of work has been completely rewritten, and the anger that he would justifiably feel as a result of all of this, whilst also having a bit of conflict at the thought of now he is finally getting the success that he has always dreamed of, and finally getting the recognition and the sales for his books as well, but also the conflict again at the thought of this success is coming from a rewritten version of his book that he didn't actually write. So I absolutely love all of the different conflicts and the deeper meanings and the characterizations and the things that all of the different characters actually have to deal with, and really seeing it from the individual perspectives is really fascinating. And so from a storyline point of view, beneath the surface, I do actually think that this movie is actually really impressive. So the cast and characters in The Book of Love are absolutely wicked, so let's go through them one by one. So first up we have Sam Claflin, who plays the main lead character Henry Cooper, and a lot of people confuse his surname for Henry Cooper, and he is a really unsuccessful writer, as everyone is deeming his real book to be really boring, and he's really not that smooth with women at all. But then he's suddenly swept into this whole new world, quite literally, where he is now suddenly an overnight success with a book that has actually been rewritten into a bit of an erotic novel. So I actually love the fact that this character really is thrown quite literally out of his comfort zone, and just seeing how he is going to navigate not only the success and the publicity that is coming from this, but also the fact that it is for something that he hasn't written, I just think is really fascinating, and is a very different type of character for Sam Claflin to play, and I feel like he does a really good job in terms of doing so. And I absolutely love the character arc that not only this character, all of the other characters as well, but in particular from the main character's point of view, where he is in the beginning of this movie to where he is by the end, is absolutely wicked. Next up we have Veronica Echegui, who is playing the next main lead character, Maria, who is the translator that turned Henry's book into a completely successful erotic novel. And I absolutely love the deeper layers that they showed with this character. For example, she has always dreamed and sought after the fact of being a really successful writer, and kind of took this opportunity to try to do this. I mean, you can argue that what the Veronica character did was wrong in terms of rewriting this person's work, but actually the fact that it was really successful, I feel like then this adds a new lens to what she did, which is really fascinating. And she has always dreamed of being a writer but has not been able to do so, maybe due to self-belief issues, and also being really busy being a mother and also working at a bar. So I really love how they actually explored some deeper layers to this character, which is really good. And she's also married to her husband Diego, except they don't really have much of a loving marriage. And I absolutely love the fact that they really went into full soap opera mode with all of these three characters in the final few moments of this movie. We've also got Lucy Punch playing the publicist from the UK perspective, and I absolutely love how this character is really dismissive of everything that the Henry character is saying and only really sees the money. And I absolutely love the perspective that they showed as well from a book publicist point of view and how they really see success and the power of social media. I've also got loads of fans of this erotic novel as well from a Mexican point of view, which is absolutely hilarious. Like I said with the storyline section, if you look a little bit deeper, I absolutely love all of the depth and the layers that they've written into these characters. So the visuals in the Book of Love are really, really simple and very, very stripped back. Not much CGI or anything out of this world happening. It's mainly set in Mexico, and I absolutely love the fact that you can really go with all of these characters, not only to Mexico, but also seeing what it's like to be on a really successful book tour. And I absolutely love the contrast at the start of this movie, where the Henry character is being really unsuccessful in a bit of a Waterstones bookstore location, and then suddenly is swept into this really successful book tour space. And you also get to see what it's like being on the red carpet, having loads of fans, seeing what all of these events are really like. And like I said before as well, the final act of this movie does really embellish the soap opera style of certain Mexico soap operas, which I think is really, really funny. And so from a visuals point of view, whilst they are really, really simple, I feel like they are really effective in communicating the narrative of this film. So from a comparisons point of view, at the end of the day, this is definitely a bit of a romantic comedy movie, so you can definitely put it into that category. In terms of that category, the films that I would compare it to definitely are While You Were Sleeping and Secret Obsession, in terms of a character kind of rewriting what everybody else thinks is true. I think you can also compare it to What's Your Number and Serendipity in terms of other romantic comedy movies, and I would also compare it a little bit to Sliding Doors as well, in terms of what your life could look like if certain events were a little bit different. So I don't think this movie necessarily is as strong as those other romantic comedy movies, but I definitely think you can compare it to them as well. So overall, with the Book of Love, I surprisingly enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would have done. I mean, at first, you may well seem like it is a bit of a throwaway love story with a really predictable plot. But that being said, like I explained, I actually feel like there's a lot more substance beneath the surface with this movie, and I think from an acting point of view, they did a really, really good job. I absolutely love the fact that we get to experience Mexico through this book tour, which I thought was really, really cool, and I can't wait to see what could potentially happen next in a sequel. And so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give this movie a solid 6.5 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear from you, so let me know what you thought of this film in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.